Saturday, April 26th, 2025. I hope you're having a wonderful weekend. Thank you for joining me again and making me a part of your day. Do me a favor, smash up the like button and subscribe to the channel if you get anything of value out of this content. But let's go ahead and dive on in. Binance trader in disbelief. Okay, a little bit dramatic. Listen, I like this chart. I like it a lot. And so what we're seeing here is Bitcoin funding rates on Binance. And you can see these little slivers when Bitcoin funding, when people are getting a little too greedy with their shorts. What tends to follow that is historically a significant increase in the price of Bitcoin. We see the last 3 times that funding got as short as it did. We see October of 2023, Bitcoin pumped really hard to end 2023. September or August, that's August of 2024, we can see that Bitcoin again pumped really hard. And here we are again. Funding got a little too negative and Bitcoin has moved in the other direction. Let's see what Dark Frost has to say. Don't sleep on this. We don't get setups like this very often. While Bitcoin is delivering a daily performance of nearly 5%, investors on Binance don't seem to believe this rally will last. We climb the wall of disbelief. Okay, whereas Bitcoin continues to climb, funding rates on Binance have turned negative, currently sitting around negative 0.006 at the time of writing. Since the beginning of this cycle, such low funding rates have only occurred twice. October 16th of 2023, Bitcoin surged from 28,000 to 73,000 over the next few months. September 9th, okay, so it was September of 2024, Bitcoin moved from 57,000 to 108. If investors' behavior remains consistent, this kind of trader disbelief could potentially lead to another bullish rally. Definitely something to watch closely. So will history repeat? You know, I'm of a mindset right now. It seems like maybe we're on our way to new highs with Bitcoin. I am not expecting anything crazy. I'm not expecting $200,000 Bitcoin in May. I could see us hitting a new all-time high, just barely getting up to the 1-teens or something like that. But we will see. Good times, good times. Lots of bullish things. There's just lots of bullish indicators right now, and I can't deny that. Now, whatever. We'll see how this works itself out. I'm looking all over the place, trying to find information on either side, trying to remain as unbiased as possible. And really, since that week after Liberation Day, it's been really difficult to find a lot of bearish chart setups or bearish on-chain analytics. That's just how it is right now. That's going to change, and maybe some of you won't be happy with me when that does change. But anyway, moving on. So Donnie, I like this. I like this setup here. Donnie Dicey might not get the obvious retest on Bitcoin at 88.8K. That is the most obvious setup. I mean, I didn't even see this tweet before I set this limit order. I have a limit order set for Bitcoin at 88.7. And so here we go. Might not get the obvious retest on Bitcoin at 88.8K if this local level accumulation pays out. Above 95K starts to get wild. Another thing that I have been emphasizing for a while now, I am a bear, straight up bear under the 50-week moving average, which is currently at like $77,000. And I am a straight up bull above $95,000. So right now we're still in this in-between zone. Can we break $95,000? Heavy resistance. I've been eyeing that level for 2 months now, but here's a Wyckoff accumulation, reaccumulation schematic that plays itself out not over weeks, but over days. Can we get there? And then can we go off to the races? We will see. But I would be very excited about longing Bitcoin at 88K. There is another chart from Donnie Dicey here. Same deal. Downtrend, and now we're in an uptrend. So uptrend, and then let's go. Let's break through the all-time high. Will this be how it plays itself out? According to this chart, it could be something like in May. We'll see. So moving on, decode. I really am interested in this right here. So this is a chart that this user on X built himself. And what does he call it? He calls it the Business Cycle Oscillator Index, overlaid with Bitcoin. So let's read this here. I've just spent all day writing my own business cycle oscillator indicator. It normalizes and combines the data from a handful of key macro leading indicators into a familiar histogram at the bottom of the chart. So this is what's called a histogram. You might find this mostly on MACD. So you'll see MACD, but then you'll see the MACD histogram. I really do pay a lot of attention to the histogram to see when to turn bullish. So anyway, here's the initial version of that liquidate indicator against global liquidity and Bitcoin. From the first green bar on the histogram, Bitcoin peaks 8 to 14 months later. Key information there. But there is no green bar yet. So does that mean that we can't hit a new all-time high in May or June? No. But what that does mean is that the all-time high for this cycle, and this is something I've been saying for years, would, if it plays itself out the way it has plays itself out historically, it would be 8 to 14 months after this flips green. And if you look on this chart here, there's no sign of this flipping green. So again, this is another bit of information that would communicate to me that sure, maybe 108 wasn't the peak of 2024, 2025, but that the peak of the cycle is still several months out. That really that it wouldn't come until 2026, and we're still deep red according to this indicator. I mean, I don't know if I follow this guy. Yeah, I saw this chart. Yeah, I don't follow him. I'm going to follow him. I'm going to turn on the notifications because I want to see updates to this chart. So I'll be making all the indicators on this chart available for free, so you can recreate it and track yourself. Decode multi-SMA EMA. You can click on the link there. Decode M2 Global Liquidity Index, and then 3, Decode Business Cycle Oscillator. This is not finished yet. That's this one. The main leading indicators are already integrated, but I have a few more to test before I'm happy, and there's a bit left to do before I have the settings panel where I want it. Stay tuned. I will be staying tuned. Ooh, somebody who I follow, you all should be following him, Jordan Lindsay at Traders Mastery on X. I see that he commented on it as well. So guys, another thing to pay attention to, another bit of information. I'm sorry to say, I tend to like charts that validate what I believe is going to happen. If you don't know, if you need a reminder, I am a huge bull for when the time is right. And I don't think the time is right now. We are in an uptrend in crypto. We are in an uptrend in the crypto market. Let's ride that out for however long it goes. But let's not get locked into this mindset that a new all-time high for Bitcoin means that alt season is around the corner, mega alt season similar to 2018 or 2021. I actually think it's pretty low chance that that's going to happen, but we can make money in the short term. This is a market for traders more than hodlers. Okay. That's just how it is. Bitcoin, short-term on-chain cost basis bands hourly, another bullish indicator. Bitcoin has now broken the short-term holder realized price or cost basis. Recently, we've had it highlighted this level as a benchmark for market sentiment and positioning. A sustained move above it often signals renewed confidence and can act as a springboard for further upside. And so let's go back in time a little bit. We don't see the last time this cross happened. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened in August or September. And then you can see what happened after that. After this oscillator moved above this middle band here, we did see a sustained rally in the price of Bitcoin. And here we are again. Here we are right now. So maybe short term, a couple months, month and a half, some kind of rally where the short term holders, they are now in profit. And they want to ride that and take some gains from that. We will see. That's 4 bullish charts in a row. And really good metrics that I'm paying attention to. I think it's good to at least have this in the back of your mind. Okay, another one. Another bullish chart. I forgot about this. I forgot that I had a lot of Bitcoin related stuff instead of macro stuff in this video. But savage volume spike coming from smart money exchanges. Been tracking this metric since 2023. It's rarely wrong. Whale and insider exchange volume aggregated from CME Bitcoin futures, Coinbase Spot Pro, Bitfinex Spot, and Redacted Exchange. Okay, he doesn't want us to know what that exchange is. I wouldn't be surprised if it was, excuse me. I meant to say shoot. I was thinking, I read Bitfinex. Sorry, I don't swear, but I just swore. So if you hear that swear, I'm not going to edit this out. I meant to say shoot. I was looking at Bitfinex, and Bybit was the one that I was going to say that I accidentally swore. Forgive me for your virgin ears, everybody. Whew, okay, locked and loaded. So what are we seeing here? You see the spike in volume from smart money exchanges, and you see a spike in price. Now, we do have July of 2024. You did see a spike. That was a very short-term spike, but you can see March of 2024, November 2024, July of 2023. So whatever, there is a spike that comes after this. The question that we need to figure out is, what kind of spike will this provide? What kind of spike in the price will this provide? It can be short-term or it can be a significant move higher, but so far so good, looking good. Smart exchange volume has picked up a lot. All right, moving on. Just something funny that I saw on X that, sure, you know what? The real war that no one is talking about, and it's between China and the United States. So I didn't know this. China owns 190,000 Bitcoin. United States, I did know that the United States owned 198,109 Bitcoin, and that they're not necessarily acquiring Bitcoin, but they are. They did acquire that from raids. I'm blanking on the word right now. Someone in the comment section, please let me know what the word that I'm blanking on right now is. China, I don't know. I don't know how they've acquired this. I don't know where they were a year ago, 2 years ago, whatever. But okay, they have 190,000 Bitcoin, at least they say. And so where are they going from here? This is something that I'm just going to make a mental note of and try to figure out what's coming next. So anyway, keep that in mind for future reference. Something interesting that I found that is this doesn't support something that I believe in right now. In buying the dip, I do believe that the stock market is going to go lower throughout the remainder of the year. And I think whatever comes after this next rally in Bitcoin, that Bitcoin is going to go a decent amount lower throughout the remainder of the year. And that will have been the peak for 2025. But, this is for the stock market, at least. Buying the dip over the last few years has repeatedly yielded positive results, which has reinforced that behavior. The Pavlovian response to market declines has become ingrained. So, average return for S&P 500 following drop of at least 5% over 2 days. So maybe this could be short term, but we're looking at 200 days here. So average, okay. 1 day you can see, gains, 5 days gains, 10 days, less gains than 5 days, 20 days, 50, 100, 200. So the average return after 200 days, after buying the dip on a 5% drop, yields a little bit higher than 10%. That's not nothing, okay? So what would 200 days from now look like? Not that we saw a 5% dip over the last 2 days, but there was surely a stretch of time where we saw a 5% dip over a 2 day span within the last month or so. So 200 days from then would probably be the end of the year. Average return, 10%. In stock market language, that's phenomenal. That's a fantastic return. So something to keep in mind, although I'm not really buying the dip right now. Okay, moving on, North Star, one of my favorites. Again, I'm going to mention North Star a lot. So we have the capital rotation event. Everything, all 11 sectors and the SPX, they are in bear markets priced in gold. Here is a chart that just keeps me up at night. I'm really scared of this chart, and it is the 30-year yields, the 30-year bond, really the 30-year. I thought it was a 10-year. This is the 30-year. Still, whatever the case, multi-decade resistance line. This is going back to 1980, and you can just see resistance support, false breakdown in 2020, COVID crash. We break through that, and, if this was a stock, I'd be like, this is a really bullish stock. But this is, unfortunately, rates, yields, and I don't want this to go up. I mean, listen, I think it's healthy long term for this to reset, but it may topple the house of cards in the United States eventually. And I don't know how we're going to be able to get back down to a point where we could do 0% rates. the federal funds, the Federal Reserve lowering the federal fund rate to zero and then turning on quantitative easing. This is going to make it very complicated. What they're going to have to do, which is going to be a highly inflationary event, is buy tens, maybe not tens, but like 10 trillion. I think the estimate is somewhere between 10 and 18 trillion dollars worth of bonds. That's all right. Be careful with that, because I think on the other side of that is massive, massive inflation. But we'll see. I mean, we need investments. We need confidence in the dollar to return. Another bearish thing, for stock market at least, institutional investors have rarely been this bearish on U.S. stocks. The hedge fund's long to short ratio on U.S. equities dropped to the lowest level in 9 years. In other words, institutional investors' positioning is the most bearish since 2016. The sentiment has changed. Maybe they're looking at things like the 10-year yield, 30-year yield. Maybe they're looking at things that a lot of the general public is not looking at. If you remember from 2 days ago, the video that I made 2 days ago, retail is buying the dip. Not only is retail buying the dip, they're buying leveraged ETFs, which is the dumbest thing that you could buy. They're buying the dip and they're buying it aggressively. And on the other side, we see institutional investors. They haven't been this bearish in a very long time. And they are exceedingly bearish right now. Maybe they're seeing things that would support this idea that, unfortunately, we still have a decent amount lower to go in the stock market. So just something it's another piece of data, So on a lighter note, let's finish this off with something that I'm telling you, I have this thought entered my mind a few years ago, and I'm excited about the business opportunity with this. Okay, think Uber, but think that you don't have to drive Uber, which, let me tell you, I've driven for Uber before. I feel like a slave. I have felt like a slave. So, okay, Tesla owners will have the ability to turn their cars into robotaxis. Technically, your car will earn money for you. It's like Uber, but the car drives itself. Yes, please. Could you imagine, think about this as an investment opportunity. Could you imagine owning something like 10 Teslas, and those 10 Teslas make you, I don't know, $200-$300 a day each? Now, there's wear and tear, there's breakdown, there's things like that, of course. But I would think that those Teslas that you would profit from that. Who knows? I mean, there's always potential for damage, and there's always potential that people are going to do stupid things in your Uber, your robotaxi, or whatever. But it's something to keep in mind as a potential futuristic investment opportunity that I am going to probably one day dabble in. Sounds good to me. So anyway, that is it for today. I hope you're having a wonderful weekend again. Like I said in the beginning of this video, if you got any value from this, I'm doing this video every day, 6 a.m. Eastern on the dot. And I would love for you to have this be a part of your day and for you to support the channel by smashing up that like button, leaving a comment in the comment section, sharing the video, and subscribing to the channel. Otherwise, I will see you in another video. Peace.